Hello friends and welcome to an in-depth review for CrisTales, a tribute to JRPGs of old with an interesting twist on the element of time and how it's manipulated. The game is currently set to come out in 2020, so much of what you see may be subject to change. But for now I'm quite excited to see what this is about, so without any further ado, let's get started. Now, I will do my best to keep this spoiler free, so if you do decide to get it in the future, you will be completely surprised. Is my companion a talking frog? That's so cool. He's got a little top hat and bow tie. Now, where did that frog run off to? Hello, Froggo. Have you seen my frog?
Think about the future. It's not just the farms that will be renovated.
I did not imagine that voice with that face. But okay, more power to you. Oh wait, let's see if he knows where the frog went now.
Hey, Chris, if you see my...
No, he doesn't. Even though the frog ran past him. Oh, see, that's a nice touch. Look at that reflection. Oh, that's real pretty. And here's where we get to experience what makes this game unique. Oh, see? Old lady's now young again. Little boy? All grown up. Oh, what a curious overworld map. How cute.
So, if I do some... Obviously. Has that not... Now, however, you have the ability to see
Silly
these
girl.
future possibilities. So choose your actions accordingly.
Obviously what you do now affects the future. Come on. Naive child.
I saw its future.
I don't know, but let's look around town. Perhaps your new powers can shed light on this.
Ah, some good old-fashioned detective work involving the past and future. So that was really cool. Just use the powers of time travel, more or less, to investigate the past to save someone in the present.
I thought you'd be happier. What is it, CrisBell?
There's only enough to fix one house.
Ah, yes. Even with the crystals, there is only so much you can do to help. It appears you must make a decision.
Oh no, I hate those!
There's always the sword.
Ridiculous! The sword is much too powerful for a novice.
No. Give me that sword. It's time to fight. Let's get into it.
With the sword enhancing your powers, you should now be able to send your enemies to either the future or the past. Give it a try. What?
What's this? I feel stronger. Big mistake!
Oh yeah, I mucked up. Yeah, definitely.
You made it. I knew you'd be able to wield that sword. Well done.
No, you didn't.
And
Ridiculous! The sword is much too powerful for a novice.
Well, I guess that does it. Right off the bat, we're introduced to a wonderful title screen. Simplistic yet beautiful, thanks to the silhouette cutout, giving us a preview of an art style often favored by indie games. Soon after, we're drifting through the first town, and even though the style may not be impressive, how well they used it to flesh out and make the world feel realistic is. Just look at all these flowers, and how detailed the background is. Moving around town, the minimal UI allows us to enjoy the scenery. And even with what little UI there is, feels at place with its size, location, and design. Once introduced to the game's core mechanic, the screen is split among the 3 tenses of time. This effect will persist for the rest of the game except during cutscenes when you time up, and when you choose to do so during combat. So you better like it, or at least be indifferent. Speaking of combat, animations are fluid, the timing of attacks are somewhat fair. More on that later. Visual feedback of mechanics have a nice flair. The action selection menu is superfluous, but stays true to the art style. The Turner Q at the top doesn't draw too much attention, but is still easily seen in peripheral vision. Character info is intuitive, the action description box is sized well. Dialogue pop-ups are neither intrusive nor obnoxious. Back to the main menu. The vibrant music combined with the aforementioned visuals, I think, effectively sets the tone of the game. What tone is that? I can't say for sure because this is only a demo, but it was very fitting. Each beep and boop from dialogue and action selection is clean, crisp, and quick. Speaking of dialogue, A+ voice acting. The only thing that felt off was some characters sounding older than they appear to be, but hey, budget exists. Although this guy should sound way gruffer. But those are all minor nuances. Combat. It is beautiful. Upbeat tempo with brief lulls to rebuild tension. Action selection noises are quick but noticeable and clean. Striking the enemy is oh so satisfying, especially when you crit, or if being attacked, deflect. Utilizing the time crystals have just enough flair, and the sounds for each skill are harmonious.
Not bad.
Now we get to arguably the most important part of any game. And even though this game has an incredibly simple control scheme, I have much to say about it. The game has 9 inputs. 11 if you count duplicates or alternatives. Arrow keys for movement and action selection, spacebar or Z for action confirmation, escape or X to cancel or go back, A for hints, and S for time jump. And to top it all off, Enter opens the menu. Does anyone else see what's wrong with this? The inputs are spread across the entire keyboard, requiring 2 hands to play when you should only need 1. Yes, you can remap, but not all of them. And even when I did try the ones available, it didn't work. However, this should be a really easy fix in a future update, so don't let that be a deterrent for you. I certainly won't let it be for me. Lastly, we have combat. All previously said about inputs intuitively follow suit here, with the exception of 2 new mechanics. Deflecting and critical hits. Both require precise timing of pressing spacebar or Z when an attack hits. Perfect timing results in the deflect or critical, accompanied by a unique sound and flavor text. Deflecting reduces damage by 60 to 80%, and critically striking does double damage. Slightly off timing is half as effective, and missing it entirely has no effect. Overall, a really interesting mechanic that keeps you engaged in the action and will likely play a vital role in the outcome of later fights.
That's too less of them.
The problem this currently has is that the window to deflect or crit is either too narrow and or inconsistent. However, this has already been brought to the developer's attention, and they said they'll be improving it. My only concern is if they make it too generous, mitigating much of the difficulty combat would otherwise have. I would recommend that all they need to do is ensure the window is consistent, and maybe widen it by a quarter to a half a second tops. An easy 8.5 out of 10, in its current state. Taking into consideration how effortless it'll be to fix my complaints about the controls, I see this jumping up to a 9.5, maybe even a 10. While art is subjective, I think the game is beautiful and lively. It runs smoothly, the characters are interesting and unique, and the voice acting is on point. Honestly, it was difficult to find something to complain about, and even then, it was a quick fix. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day.